Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to everyone's attention, especially my Democratic colleagues, a troubling incident that transpired over the recess. It's important that people hear about how women in the LGBT community are treated at the highest levels of the current Puerto Rican government and the values and politics that run deeply throughout the politics for statehood in Puerto Rico. It is fair to say that in the era of Trump, admitting a Spanish-speaking Caribbean country as the 51st state would depend on the strength of the Democratic votes. So it's important for my Democratic colleagues in particular to understand who the statehooders really are and what they really stand for beyond their rhetoric in Washington, D.C. The president of the Senate in Puerto Rico, Thomas Rivera Schatz, is a key leader in the statehood party. In a recent interview on Noti Uno Radio, he was asked about the Financial Oversight and Management Board, known as the Junta de Supervisión Fiscal. This is the controversial board created by Congress a year ago to take over financial and fiscal decisions in Puerto Rico and to prioritize the payment of Puerto Rico's debt to Wall Street. I was one of the chief opponents of PROMESA legislation that created the junta, and I've spoken out against it on numerous occasions. But it wasn't what the statehood Senate president said about the junta that was so offensive. It was how he talked about in public about one of its board members, in fact, the only woman on the board, and an appointee nominated by Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in the House. Ana Matos Santos has impeccable bipartisan qualification and also happens to be an openly gay woman. So during the interview, the Senate president and statehood leader referred to Ms. Matos Santos as Mr. Matos Santos, using the masculine pronoun Señor. He did it multiple times so that the listeners would not miss his disdain for lesbians and for women. It was no accident or slip of the tongue. Given an opportunity to apologize, Rivera Schatz has declined to back down. And this is not the first time he has displayed his contempt for women and for gay and lesbian community. His agenda is clear, and he knows he has many like-minded allies in Puerto Rico's statehood movement. Every time he has had an opportunity to block civil and human rights protections for the LGBT individuals, he does so. He goes out of his way to belittle gay and lesbian citizens, even when they are the victims of hate crimes. And to be clear, I don't see Rivera Schatz as one bad apple. He is a bad apple that exemplifies and is a voice for other leaders in his party. So as a Puerto Rican and as a supporter of equality, all this is deeply disturbing to me. Gender and LGBTQ equality issues are deeply ingrained values of the Democratic Party, and I think they are core issues that bind Democrats together, issues of justice, opportunity, and fair play. So when the leaders of the statehood movement in Puerto Rico call upon Democrats in Congress to speak about equality and justice for Puerto Ricans, I want my colleagues to think about the agenda they are pursuing in Puerto Rico and the extent to which they have very different approaches to fairness and equality on the island. Now, in closing, I'd like to offer a few words to the Puerto Rican people in their own language, Spanish, and I will provide its translation to the desk. Los valores de la igualdad y del trato justo y equitativo son valores fundamentales que la mayoría de los puertorriqueños atesoramos profundamente. Así que cuando el partido estadista, el PNP, permite que figuras polarizantes y divisivas como el senador Rivera Schatz sean su cara y su principal representante en el Senado, eso me hace a mí y a muchos otros sentirnos escépticos en cuanto a los argumentos de los estadistas que usan palabras como igualdad y justicia en Washington, pero luchan en contra de la igualdad y la justicia en Puerto Rico. ¿Cómo espera que se les tome en serio al hablar de igualdad cuando su agenda en la legislatura es la de quitarles derechos a las mujeres, la comunidad LGBT, a los estudiantes y a los que se manifiestan y protestan pacíficamente? Criminalizar la protesta no adelanta la democracia y la igualdad. Esta es la fundamental hipocresía que le he señalado a mis colegas demócratas aquí ahora y en reuniones privadas a través de correspondencia. Si el movimiento estadista en realidad tuviese un compromiso con la igualdad, actuarían conforme a la igualdad y no meramente usando el término como un lema que les conviene. Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time, and I will make, for the record, the translation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the